Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last username Feed the Beast epic slideshow. Yeah, it's pretty bad. The whole game isn't this bad, it's just my base. I got too much stuff here, and it is not too much for my computer. But not a problem because, ladies and gentlemen, I have a new gaming PC. Don't have the entire PC yet. I have 2 of the 3 packages of parts. Third one is shipping right now. Should show up in the next couple days. And then I gotta put it together, which is not my favorite part of computer ownership. But hopefully it'll go smoothly, and then I will have a more than adequate gaming and recording machine. But I couldn't wait until then to show you all the stuff I've been working on. I have been busy playing Feed the Beast, learning all about it, about all the different things you can do. I think I'm at the point now where I have a pretty good idea of everything in the game. I mean, I don't know literally everything, but I think I know most of the things that you can do. And I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do. And I've actually done some of it already. But one of the things I learned is that you have to plan your base really carefully if you want to have some crazy big industrial operation like this. You've got to plan everything out, or you'll end up with a big mess, which is kind of what I have here. But that's alright, because it does work, and I've definitely figured out a lot of stuff. So think of this as like a prototype. And I think what I'm going to do as of starting next episode is abandon this base and go start a new one. One that's planned out and will be all nicely arranged and nice and fully functional and will look nice and do all the things I want to do. But until then, I want to show you all the things I figured out. So let's have a look at last username's base. So I guess we should start at the beginning of my energy pipeline. The magic starts right here. This is a tier 5 soul shard skeleton spawner. You can get one of these by making a soul shard and either killing 1,024 skeletons or right-clicking on 5 skeleton spawners with the soul shard, which is what I did. As you can imagine, it's much, much easier. And you get this guy, and you can place it anywhere. You can pick it up and move it. It's got all these neat features. It doesn't care about light level. It spawns really, really fast. It doesn't care where you are. It'll work even if I'm nowhere near it. You can turn it on and off with redstone. All kinds of neat stuff. So I built this basic fall trap here. There's various ways to build this trap. I had a melee turtle fighting the skeletons at one point, and that worked great. The only problem with it is that it drops XP. The melee turtle drops XP when he kills things, which is nice when you want to level up, but I couldn't leave it going all the time because the XP orbs would just pile up and start lagging the server like crazy, and I could not figure out any way to get rid of them. I don't know if you've got any ideas, let me know, but I had to just convert it into a fall trap. So it's pretty simple. They fall down here. These are red power transposers, and when you pulse them with redstone, they'll pick up any items in a 3x3 area around them on the floor. So with 9 of those, you can cover an entire 9x9 floor. Works out really nicely. And from those, the bones and arrows and whatnot come out here. This is a filter to dispose of bows, which I don't need. I don't actually see any though. I wonder if they're actually dropping bows. Maybe they don't drop bows when they fall? I don't know. Anyway, bones and arrows will go through here and into my sort of main pipe network with all my loot. The bones, this thing is complicated, but in a nutshell, there's sort of barrels for specific things, and at the end there's a disposal that gets rid of a few things that I have too much of and literally need to simply throw in lava because there's nothing, I have nowhere to put them anymore. And anything else that is not accounted for will just end up in some chests, so I have a chest full of random junk here. No. Here's some random junk. The bones, however, will end up right here in this extra dimensional storage barrel. These things are great. I'd recommend that you start building extra dimensional barrels instead of having massive amounts of normal barrels, because those get out of hand really fast. You end up with tons and tons of barrels, and it's really a pain in the butt to manage them. So just, bite the bullet and build the upgrades. They're pretty cheap once you get all the materials for them, which I don't recall right now. And so I've got a general rule here that I don't never have more than one barrel of stuff. Once I get a full 1,024 stacks of something, I just start throwing it away, because I don't think I'm ever going to need that much. And I already have quite a bit of stuff here. I broke the rule for cobblestone because I had so much cobblestone. So anyway, the bones end up here, and there's actually a transposer underneath here that is sucking the bones into another pipe, and it goes down here. And excuse me, this is pulverizer, which will turn one bone into 6 bone meal instead of 3. So yeah, you should use a pulverizer to make bone meal if you can. It's powered by the Stirling engines up here, which are being fed coal. Actually, it's charcoal. You'll see why in a minute. From another big barrel over here. And the bone meal that comes out of here will go down here into this barrel. And what we've got here is a tree farm. And the farmer is a turtle. Trying to get in his way here. He's not rendering very well right now. There he is. His name is Jack. He's a chunk loading mining turtle. Should only make chunk loading mining turtles, so I'll tell you about that after. So anyway, Jack is programmed to go over here and pick up bone meal and saplings and coal to fuel himself and plant trees. Oop. Grow them with bone meal and then chop them down. And the logs he drops in here. He drops them in there, and there's another filter. There's a filter that sucks the logs into this machine here, and they'll go into the tops of these furnaces, where they will be turned to charcoal. And the back of the furnaces, there's a bunch of transposers that are sucking the charcoal out and sending it to a few different places. First of all, they send it back into the bottom of the furnace. That's the first priority, so to keep the furnaces going. And if those are full, then they'll end up going into these generators. So these guys will stay full, and this is generating my EU power, which I'm only using right now for an MFE to keep my jetpacks going, and to power these charging stations, which are fueling my army of turtles. I'll tell you about those after. So once those are full, the coal goes, where does it go? Into that ender chest right there. And what happens in that ender chest? Well, it's the same color as this ender chest up here. This is the main sort of intake for my whole system. This is a filter that is constantly sucking things out of this chest and putting them back into the pipe network. So that's how the coal finds its way into the network and back into this thing here to fuel the Stirling engines. And there's also the matter of the saplings. Those are collected by this water here, and it goes to a transposer right there, which sucks them into this pipe here, and they'll go first up to this barrel here, so that the lumberjack turtle always has saplings available. And any excess will also go into the ender chest over there, where they will, at the moment, be dumped into lava, because I already have... oh no, I don't have a full stack. Okay, so they're being stashed here. I thought this was full already. But it will be soon, and then saplings are one of the things I will dump in the lava once I have enough. You got to make sure you're... I have to make sure I'm disposing of stuff, because if I don't, it will clog up the overflow chests, and then a bunch of valuable stuff won't fit in there, and the whole system will get clogged up. So it's important to dispose of stuff to keep your system running smoothly. Yeah, and that's the basic energy chain. So I have unlimited charcoal, and I'm using that to power everything else right now. Now let me show you this thing. This is my Smeltomatic 9000. This is also connected to those Stirling engines. We've got another pulverizer here, and this is just making sand. So there's cobblestone here, and this is coming from the main pipe network, so that's never going to run out of cobble. And it's constantly making sand. Got a bunch of that already. And gravel, I guess. And then the sand is being sucked back into an induction smelter. And it's not doing anything right now, but if you want to see it in action, let's say I want to smelt some copper and maybe some tin. Just put them in this iron chest. And the transposer will start putting them into the induction smelter. Induction smelter, definitely the preferred way to smelt ingots, because you get 2 for 1. That thing's going full speed, and the ingots are being sucked out and into the barrels. So I got a bunch of barrels of common stuff, and then the sort of rarer stuff ends up here. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I mean, it may be messy, but it works, and I got a whole bunch of loot already. So I'll have a lot of loot with which to start my new base. So of all the neat stuff in Feed the Beast, by far the most interesting thing to me is the turtles. I could see why, if you didn't happen to be a computer programmer, turtles would not seem all that useful to you. But if you are a programmer, then you can do anything with them. It's ridiculous what you can do with them. Because they can do anything. They don't have very much functionality built in. Just very basic stuff like move forward, turn left, turn right, dig, place, and a few other things. And there's a few built-in programs that do very basic sort of mining and stuff, but it's fairly primitive. And I spent a good chunk of my time in this game just writing code for these turtles and smartening them up, giving them all sorts of more sophisticated AI for doing stuff. So let me show you what these can do. So all of the turtles I make, most of them anyway, are chunk loader mining turtles. So this turtle has 2 upgrade slots, one for each side. And you can put, so you get basically 1 tool and 1 upgrade module, or you get 2 upgrade modules. And there's a whole bunch of different things. You can get like a bucket, and you get one that can craft things, and this and that. But the most useful is, in my opinion, the chunk loading mining turtle. First of all, the mining turtle can mine any block. So anything that a felling turtle or a digging turtle can mine, he can mine too. So there's really no reason to make the other kinds of turtles. And there's definitely no reason to make a farming turtle. I think the farming turtle must be some kind of joke, because the only thing it can do is till soil. It can't even harvest plants, because it can't mine anything. This guy can harvest plants. So a farming turtle can't really farm anything. It can just till a farm, which is not really the part of farming that you need a turtle to help you with. But anyway, so yeah, the chunk loading part is this upgrade that you can make. You need like an ender pearl. There's different ways to make it, because you can use any of the sort of chunk loader items in the game to do it. But the cheapest way to do it is to make a chunk loader, like the one that looks like a crafting table from chicken chunks. And then out of that you can make 10 spot loaders. And each spot loader can give you 1 chunk loader module for a turtle. So that's a really cheap way to make these things. And what it does is this turtle will keep the chunk that he's in loaded, no matter who's on the server or how far away they are, or even if nobody's on the server. So basically this guy is always running. He's like a player. And that is awesome, because he can be doing his mining or whatever he's doing while I'm not even connected. It doesn't seem entirely reliable at the moment. I'm noticing that the turtles are crashing sometimes. Like I go and check up on them when they're supposed to be mining, and they're just sitting there, and I look at them and they've rebooted. So I think they're getting unloaded somehow. But I'm working on a system where they can they have wireless communication. That's the other thing, is that this chunk loader also serves as a wireless modem, so you don't need to put a wireless modem on them as well. So with a wireless modem, they can all talk to each other over the air, and I'm working on a system where they will constantly keep each other updated on their position. And if one of them disappears, then another one will go and rescue him. Because presumably what's happened is his chunk has been unloaded somehow, and he's asleep. So another chunk loader will go and load the chunk, and I'm pretty sure just by coming in the same chunk and loading it, the one that's asleep will wake back up, and he'll reboot, and I've got a startup file that will resume whatever they're doing. So I'm working on that, and hopefully that will make them more reliable. So one of the first problems that you'll have to solve when you're programming turtles is figuring out where they are. Turtle has to know where it is, and they don't really have any good way to know that, except the wireless modem. When it receives a message from another turtle or another computer, it will give the distance to the thing that sent the message, the exact distance. And the turtle comes with a program that takes advantage of that to do global positioning, GPS. And here's how that works. You have to make a GPS antenna. So that looks something like this. We're up at the height limit here, where my jetpack doesn't work. And this is kind of a crude looking antenna, but it works. So we got 4 computers up here, each with a wireless modem. And this is a chunk loader turtle who's just sitting here to keep it loaded. Here's the other 2. And all you need is 4 computers in, I believe, any formation where they're not all in the same plane will work. I think this is a commonly suggested pattern, but there's probably, I think as long as they're not all in the same plane, then you should be able to get position from them. So you'll start them up and you'll run, you'll type GPS host on their command line, and then they'll start hosting GPS requests. And this guy has responded to 511 GPS requests. That's what I'm trying to say. You should put a disk drive next to them so that if they crash, they can boot off it. You don't have to put a startup file that runs GPS host and blah 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 blah. It's a little fussy, but it works. I've never had to come up here since I set this thing up properly. And then on any other thing, you can just type GPS locate, I believe, and it will search for any other computers hosting and talk to them a little bit and get the distances and trilaterate its position, and then it knows where it is. And you only have to do that once, and from then on, as the turtle moves around, it can keep track of where it is using dead reckoning. So if it knows where it was and it knows where it's moved, then it knows where it is. And I've sort of wrapped all the basic movement commands in things that will keep track of that. One little problem is they don't know which direction they're facing from the GPS. It can't tell them that. So all my turtles will, when they're locating themselves, they will move forward right away and then do another GPS check to see which direction they moved. And then they know which direction they're facing, and then they can keep track of everything. So once a turtle knows its position, then you can start doing some fun stuff with it. The main thing I've been interested in is mining. And here's how my mining program works. So let's say we want to mine from here. We'll call this waypoint A. 228, 35, 17, 18. That's the GPS determined location of this turtle. And I want to clear out an area up to here, which we'll call waypoint B. At those coordinates. And those are saved in a file. So I can pick up the turtle and just put him down any old place, doesn't matter where. And I type cuboid A, B. And he will say that the enter chest is missing from slot 16. So the mining program will insist that they have an enter chest in slot 16 so that when their inventory is full, they can put down the ender chest and dump everything into my pipe system. And it's a good thing they remind me because I will always forget. So now he's got the ender chest, and we'll try that again. Coal was missing from slot 15. This, oh, okay. I removed that. They used to need coal, but since they had those charging stations, they don't need it anymore because they have massive amounts of fuel saved up. But this guy has an old version of the code, so I'll just update his code. See, the computer craft turtles and computers come with a text editor, which is kind of neat, but I can't be bothered to write my code in Minecraft. So I edit it, with a text editor on my computer, and I wrote a little program that uses their HTTP API to update the code. And that's actually the old version of the code updater. This is the new one, which is much faster. And it only updates code that changed. So that makes, you should definitely set up something like that right away if you can, because that makes everything go faster. I couldn't imagine writing all this code on a turtle. Anyway, let's get some mining going here. I think this should work now. Oh. Why is he still want coal? Because I have to reboot him, that's why. The old code is still in memory. Yes, there we go. So blah, 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 blah. There's a bunch of stuff. He knows where he's supposed to start digging. And he says no, because I can't dig in a protected region. So in order to prevent my turtles from going berserk and demolishing my base by accident due to some bug, I put in the system where I could define the regions of the world that were safe for them to dig in, and the regions that are not safe, like my base. And the low-level digging functions will always check that to make sure that wherever they're digging is someplace they're allowed to dig. And I have not set this area to be diggable, but I can do that. So it's going to be push safe region, I believe. Yeah. Push safe region. And what's our coordinates? We're at 223 in a minute. Okay, I'm just gonna do 200 by 0 by 1500 up to 500 by 255 by nil. Nil means infinity, so the region will just go on forever in that direction. Anywhere above 1500. Push save region, okay. Now if I did pop save region, it would get rid of that region, so you can put a temporary one. And now let's see if he will do this. Cuboid A, B. Now, there he goes. Now he'll automatically go to the nearest corner and start digging, and he'll even dig to the corner if he can't get there, and if he's in the safe region. And then he'll start digging in this pattern, sort of 3 by 1 in a zigzag. And he'll even deal with gravel. If gravel starts falling in front of him, he'll just keep digging the gravel until it's out of the way. It's one of the little things you gotta learn from experience. Then it goes up to the next layer. If there's space there, he'll just go through it really fast. And he's done. At the end, he'll place the ender chest, unload everything into it, It'll also do that if his inventory is full at any point. And then he'll pick up the ender chest and keep going or finish. Now, just to give you an idea of how productive turtles can be, this is how I got all that loot back there. It all came from here. This is around diamond level. And this entire area was excavated by turtles. They kind of leave a mess behind, which is a shame. I want to make it so that they kind of clean up after themselves. Clean up the lava and the water, and maybe even place some torches on the ground so you don't get mobs all over the place. But that gets more complicated. It's taken me a while just to get them to do this reliably, and they don't even do it reliably yet because I got that crashing thing still. But there's still a lot of code to be written. A lot more they can do. And I think that's all I have time to show you guys today. There is a lot more, and there will be so much more to come. But that's it for now. I'm Last Username, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Yes, it will be an episode, not a slideshow, I promise, of Exile, Feed the Beast.